Creative Drive. Been a long day. One of them. About to go park the car. Go to the gym. I'm on a fast right now. Started on Monday. Day four? Day 4, yeah, day 4. Feeling good. You know, this is the first time I incorporated, like, the last few times I incorporated electrolytes, you know, Himalayan pink salt in my water. And today I grabbed some magnesium glycinate, and I got some potassium that arrived at the crib, so when I get back I'm gonna do that, add those to the fast. Man, I feel way stronger than normal on a fast. I feel like I could go for a while. Let's see how long I last on this one. I want to talk about, like, you know, artifacts. You know, artifacts, something that is still interesting 1,000 years later. You know what I mean? An artifact is something that has a value that goes beyond financial. An artifact, not only is it old, but it has a story behind it. An artifact, not just, you know, 1,000-year-old nail. You know what I mean? It has to have, you know, a history and a origin story, you know. So I'm in the artifacts. Like, to this day, I still have one of those old boom boxes from, like, the early 80s. It is type that you hold up on your shoulder. You know what I mean? Put batteries in the back, got the speakers on it, the tape deck. And no matter how many times I've moved throughout the years, I've always kept it, you know. And to this day, you know what I mean? That's a museum piece at this point. It's down there 50 years old, you know. And it's one of the dope ones too. It's not just an old radio. You know what I mean? There's old radios that wouldn't be worth keeping. That ain't worth, you know what I mean, holding on to or displaying. You know? And I'm into artifacts and building them. You know what I mean? Collecting them. Even when it comes to, like, jewelry. I never bought a whole lot of jewelry. But every time I've bought jewelry, any piece I've bought it meant something to me. You know. Even back in the day when I bought my first Jesus piece, me and C-Dub, you know what I mean? Me and C-Dub, we was at the mall. We stopped in the jewelry store, and it was this Jesus. It was like Jesus' face. It was rose gold, yellow gold, and white gold. And it was like, it was unique, you know what I mean? It wasn't the most expensive, but it wasn't cheap, you know? But the thing about it was so unique. It was like, it told a story, because you know you had the crown one color, his face one color, and his beard one color. So it's like the detail in it, you know, for a piece at that price point, the detail was damn good, you know what I mean? And I ended up getting rid of it, you know, for different reasons I'll talk about later, you know. It's a whole nother story, but for one, I don't know exactly what he looked like, so I'm thinking, you know, I got Jesus on my chain, but man, it could have been Ralph. That could have been Ralph. You know what I mean? I don't know what Jesus looked like. So, like, not to get too much into that, but, you know, like recently I've been collecting jewelry pieces. And there's unique things, and a lot of it's already old. You know what I mean? Like, shoot, you know what I mean? Early 1900s, some of the pieces, 1930s, 20s, 1940s, you know. And in saying all that, it's like the art that I create. I was talking to Intone the other day, you know what I mean? We working on the album. Dude, I keep saying it, but he just came through with some shit's fire. He got so excited about the project that it just made me even more excited about it. But he was like, yeah, Phil, you know, you make timeless music. So all that shit you've been making, that shit could pop right now. So when we drop this album, you know, the world gonna think you a new artist, but then they gonna be able to go back and do the research and then find all the shit you've been making. So it's like, you know, when we was in that studio, we was laying all these tracks down, you know, we got some artifacts, you know what I mean? We got some artifacts in the vaults in the catalog, you know. Got some timeless themes, timeless pieces that we have created, you know. Got me thinking about like what defines a legacy. Because, you know, not many people will be remembered even 100 years from now. Only a select few are going to be remembered 1,000 years from now. So it's like, you could leave an artifact behind in some, you know, something, whatever you make, whether you make jewelry, whether you start a fucking company or a concept, something that you was able to channel and create that lives for generations and millennia. Like, that's where I'm at right now with what I want to build. Because even if it's just the words, you know, the words in the songs written on a pyramid wall or a cave wall, or like, you know what I mean, create big ass crop circles with the lyrics. I want the lyrics to like to be able to stand the test to where it's like 10,000 years from now, that shit still gonna mean something because it's true, raw, human emotions, experience, you know. For something to be an artifact, it gotta have a legacy for sure. Cause shit, 1,000 years from now, somebody see a fucking plastic cup, a mass-produced plastic cup. Shit ain't gonna be no artifact though. You know, it's like you got old people that have no wisdom. You know, old as hell, can't teach you shit. Maybe it teach you what not to do. You know. But yeah, this one of them I'm gonna get back to. Cause now it's giving me thoughts on like the meticulousness that I want to convey. Not even convey, that I want to, you know, have when crafting. What's essentially my debut album. Everything else has just been training, you know, getting me ready, you know, getting the muscle memory, mastering the skill set. So now I'm ready, you know what I mean? This is like in ancient times, or, you know, motherfucking people get commissioned. But you get to that level to where now you getting commissioned. I feel like that's where I'm at. So it's like now we gonna make some artifacts, and we're gonna tap all the way in to see, you know, not to see, but to show, you know what I mean? To show, you know, there is levels to this shit, you know, the levels, you know. And we're gonna display a difference in the levels of this shit, you know. Creative drive, the day the sun didn't shine. It's becoming a reality, you know. Peace.